Welcome to the Civic Brief with Dr. Isaiah Ike Wilson III, where complex issues meet everyday lives. Now, let's begin.
Good evening, friends, fellow travelers. Tonight I want to talk about how we win the hard way, the lawful way, and the honest way. I call it the wise way. It's a simple idea in a world of tangled threats. We need clear rules, steady hands, and practical moves that make us safer without breaking the very laws and values that keep us free. I'll give you 5 no-regrets moves. They'll work across crises, Europe, the Indo-Pacific, the Western Hemisphere, and they keep faith with the Constitution and our allies. There are no slogans here, just what works. Now, before we start, one quick compass check. Now, you just listened to my and our guest, Dr. Ken Weinstein of the Hudson Institute's, let's call it the Around the World, in about 80 minutes. And during that travel, you heard Dr. Weinstein deliver a very robust and frankly, a very logical and rational due cause argument in support of this second Trump administration's military postures and lethal strike actions targeting Maduro's Venezuela. What he did was he helped us widen our views to and understandings of and appreciations for what I've always called the larger maps, bigger great powers competitions. And in this particular case, where it comes to President Maduro's complicities with Putin's Russia and Xi's China. Now, it is this in large context where an ultimate justification for U.S. robust military presence and action, including lethal action in and around Venezuela, may eventually be found and secured. Let me say that last part again, may eventually be found and secured as legitimate. What I want to do here now is to offer a bit of the counterfactual, the other side of this story, if you will. And that side, this other side of this story begins and ends with legal, moral, and ethical concerns surrounding what are difficult, if not impossible, to characterize, at least so far, as extrajudicial killings off the coast of Venezuela and expanding across the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific Ocean. We're seeing a push to rebrand counter-narcotics as a quote-unquote war on narco-terrorism. Now, that may sound tough. It's also legally shaky, strategically costly, and dare I say, civically corrosive. At sea, our Coast Guard and partners already have strong lawful tools. Ashore, if we slide into a vague war with no clear legal basis, we risk mission creep, partner backlash, and damage to our own rule of law. Now, the wise way is about discipline. Police where law gives us reach. Prosecute where evidence travels. Reserve force for clearly lawful, bounded support. That's the frame. Now, I promised you the 5 moves, so here we go. First, focus on the compass before code. Set red lines first, then write the code around them. Our first move is simple. Decide what we will not do before we decide what we might do. For technology and targeting, especially with artificial intelligence, the rule is human in the loop. Law over impulse. Publish the red lines in plain English. Confirm consent and legality before operations, not after. If you can't explain the legal basis and the safeguards in public, simply don't do it. This same rule applies to the so-called narco-terrorism war. We are not in a declared armed conflict with cartels. Let me say that again. Domestic law, international humanitarian law, legally, we are not in a declared armed conflict with cartels. Folks, that matters a lot. It means capture first, evidence first, prosecute under law, use deadly force only to protect life when no lesser means will do. No euphemisms here. The standard is this: can this stand up in court and in the daylight? If not, hold fire. What's the bottom line? A moral compass isn't branding. It's a brake. It keeps us off the rocks. Now, secondly, you've heard me talk before about integrated 3D times C, defense, diplomacy, development, and commerce in that order. integrated together. Our second move is to sequence our tools on purpose. Again, I call it 3D times C. First, defense. Protect people. Protect nodes and networks, air defense, ports, power grids, data cables, etc. Diplomacy. Bring partners to the table early. Clear roles, shared intel, common standards. From a development lens, fund the boring things that cool off violence. Courts at work, clean water, local news, etc. And then we look at commerce and that commerce instrument. Align markets with security. Things like insurance, incentives, spare parts on hand, transparent contracts. You get the idea. Now, this is not just theory. It's a checklist. And this is a checklist that I've employed over 25 years across the globe. And though in the Indo-Pacific, success is often presence without war. Coast guards cooperating, shared maritime pictures, quick repair tenders for cables and ports. In Europe, the race is against time, not just territory. Air defense pooling, grid protection, customs throughput, court calendars that don't slip. In our own Western Hemisphere, stick to the Joint Interagency Task Force South, or JIATF South in military lingo, at sea, plus financial enforcement ashore. Use what we call shipwriter agreements, anti-money laundering and know your customer rigor, extradition pipelines, and vetted prosecutors. Track interdiction to prosecution conversion, not just tons seized. What's the bottom line here? Sequence matters. And when we align 3D times C, we raise the cost of aggression and lower the odds of war. Thirdly, industrial and civic stamina. Build depth where it counts and measure delivery, not just headlines. The third move, it's all about stamina, folks. Wars and gray zone contests are won by the side that keeps the lights on and frankly the shelves stocked. That means magazine depth for munitions, repair capacity, things like transformers on order, cable repair ships ready, and surge contracts pre-baked. It also means civic stamina, things like election integrity, referee protection for judges and journalists, and public services that work on time. Now here's how to make it real. Tie money to metrics. No data, no dollars. Publish service clocks, ballot cure times, case closures, port throughput. Stock the spares. Again, transformers, fiber, fuel bladders, drone parts, etc. Practice those repairs. Rehearse how to fix what will inevitably break. The bottom line here, again, stamina. Stamina wins. If your factories, courts, and grids can't hold, your strategy will not hold either. Fourth, interoperability by design. Agree on the standards first. The rest gets easier once you do that. Here's the fourth move. Make unity easy. Real conditions and coalitions don't happen on summit day. They happen on standard day, on a day-to-day. Decide ahead of time how we'll share data, how we'll train, how we'll store and move fuel and spares, what we'll call an incident, and how we'll respond to it. Let's talk practical steps. One shared operating picture per theater with agreed labels and timestamps. Combine magazines and repair depots, not just national piles. Common procedures for gray zone hits, cable cuts, grid node tripped, Coast Guard rammings. Publish the ladder of responses all in advance. Insurance at the table, bring it to the table. If underwriters see the plan, ships keep sailing. Premiums stay sane. The bottom line, interoperability is built on Tuesday afternoons, not during a crisis. The day after is what matters most. It's what's most durable. Standards, folks, are strategy. Fifth, lawful campaigning. I want to emphasize this point. We're not talking about everywhere war. We're talking about policing the commons as commons. Use force lawfully and narrowly. Win with legitimacy. So what's that fifth move all about? It's about staying inside the law. Let me say that again. Staying inside the law. and winning with legitimacy. Now at sea, we already have a strong proven model. Again, Coast Guard cutters plus maritime patrol aircraft plus that JIAD of South plus partner shipwriters plus clear jurisdiction. That's how you detect, monitor, interdict, and prosecute without declaring war on the ocean. When we look to ashore operations, this is where we get in trouble. If we frame cartels as wartime enemies and take shots without a solid legal basis, travelers, we invite blowback, partner refusal, and long-term loss of trust. Worse, we give criminals the one thing they crave: status. So here's the rule set. Consent or clear self-defense. If you don't have it, don't swing. Graduated measures, warnings, disabling fire, capture where possible. Transparency clocks. Acknowledge in 24 hours, facts in 72, legal bases always published. And then rescue duty. If force is used at sea, save lives and document everything. Independent reviews. If we err, say so, and then fix it transparently. The bottom line here is that legitimacy is the decisive terrain. You cannot defend freedom by undermining the law that protects it. So then finally, let's try to put it all together. Compass before code, set the red lines, keep humans in the law in the loop. Again, there's that 3D times C sequencing, defense diplomacy, development and commerce, on purpose, all integrated together. Stamina, factories, spares, courts, and grids that don't flinch, and interoperability by design, shared standards, shared stocks, shared sense-making. Finally, most importantly, lawful campaigning. Police those commons. Prosecute under the law. Use force rarely, narrowly, and with sunlight. Keep it transparent. This is how we stay strong without losing ourselves. This is how we protect allies without burning bridges. This is how we keep faith with those who wear the uniform and with the citizens they serve. Fellow travelers, the wise way is not flashy. It's grown-up statecraft, patient, disciplined, and measurable. It's how you hold a coalition. It's how you deter a bully. It's how you win the peace before someone tries to win the war. Fellow travelers, clear eyes, steady hands, many not one. I'm Dr. Ike Wilson. Thanks for walking this road with me for Nation Not Self.
Thanks for tuning into the Civic Brief. Got questions, insights, or ideas? Join us at thecivicbrief.com to continue the dialogue. Subscribe, share, and be part of shaping the future, one brief at a time.